Well, there are plenty of things I think would be better for the Mets as an organization, a franchise, in a 12-year deal to Carlos Correa, which you can tell I thought it was a bad idea from the jump. One of those things that's a way better idea is Manny Machado once he opts out of his Padres contract. The relationship between Machado and Showalter is really authentic. It's easy to generalize and be like, oh, they were together somewhere, so they like each other. It's not always the case. In this case, and I talked about this on Hot Stove last night, I remember talking to Zach Britton about this, who obviously was there in Baltimore with them, and he would watch Buck and Machado interact and be like, these guys hate each other. They are really going at it all the time. Wow. And then as Manny started to mature, he started to talk about Buck as like the best manager he's ever had at any level. He feels very close with him. Terry Collins was saying that Buck has told him that he loves Manny. So I just think that given the fact that it won't take 12 years.
He's a handsome man.
We're going to get into handsomeness later, so let's just try to keep this organized. Buck's overall, I think it's sexiness factor. I'm not sure. I can't remember what the metric was. It's something we'll discuss later in the show.
Yeah, but his relationship with Machado.
Machado, also a handsome man, would be a fit for the Mets in that sense. And also the fact that he's a great third baseman, does not require a 12-year contract, star in his prime. That's a fit.
All right, so we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, right? We're talking about what they should do in the next. We haven't even gotten to spring training, and we're talking about what they should do in the next free agency. Sure, when we're looking ahead to who's going to be a free agent next year, Machado is number 2 on that list, I guess, after Shohei Ohtani, although I don't actually know that the Mets should go after Ohtani. I feel like they have plenty of sort of risky.
Wow, rogue opinion alert.
Like
rogue opinion alert.
Sliding that in, I like it.
You should have started the show with that. What? You don't want Ohtani?
I mean, I would love to see Ohtani in New York every single day, so I would personally benefit greatly if the Mets went after Shohei Ohtani. I just do think that you're at some point reaching a point of diminishing returns if you're banking on the pitching side. The Mets, I don't know, it's worked out thus far for them to go after old pitchers. Okay, we were talking about Manny Machado.
We were, but this is good too.
Well, because they're both big names, free agents next year. And look, we know that the Mets, and we'll get into it throughout the course of the show, but the Mets are going to make plenty of moves to this year's team as well. But that big name bat that's going to be out there, Machado's opting out of his deal. I mean, we know that
they
that's
all
going
do.
to be 100%, and we know Ohtani's going to be available. So both those guys would be in play for the Mets next year, and you assume that we know Steve Cohen, the way he operates, he's going to be in on them.
Listen, obviously we've learned that he's willing financially to go anywhere. In fact, when we talk about Ohtani and Machado next offseason, there's absolutely no reason to expect that the Mets would feel that they had to choose between those guys. They will go for both of them if and when both of them are available, and if those guys want to leave the West Coast. The Mets are there to pay those guys. And I think, of course, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I think it is a takeaway from the Correa situation. When Cohen already had this very high payroll, big commitment to Lindor, big commitment to Verlander, Scherzer. When you go for Correa, even though it didn't work out, it tells you that he really doesn't have a limit to what he's willing to do if he feels that the player is the right fit.